Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor, your weekly go-to show to find you those big Saturday winners. And Cheltenham is back. We're going to be looking ahead to the best of the action at the November meeting. As well as that, we have listed action at Lingfield to get stuck into. And of course, I'm going to be looking at all of these races alongside Declan Ricks and Sam Boswell. Dec, the jump season is in full swing now. How are you enjoying it?
Yeah, no, it's getting exciting. I still feel like another week or two and I'll have the form book sussed a little bit better, but loved Cheltenham, so really looking forward to the 3 days there. It should be good. And before I move on, well done on your winner in the November handicap. Your back must be in bits from carrying this show, but well done.
Oh, thank you so much. I know I didn't know if he was going to go through with it, one smooth operator, but as soon as he did, I thought, well, that was okay, actually, wasn't it? So thank you very much again for bringing that up. But Sam, we've got so much to look forward to. Both of you two very suitably attired, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, a busy week, loads to get stuck into on the show. Just to give a quick mention as well, obviously it's been Safer Gambling Week this week and been doing lots around that. I think the whole purpose of Safer Gambling Week, if you can just spend 30 seconds on it, is it's not about it being just a week, it's about just to start those conversations. So I'd advise anyone, whoever you bet with, there'll be loads of resources on your bookmaker's website to take a look at, from everything from deposit tools to timeout, to just trying to help you make sure people are continuing to gamble responsibly, which is something we want to encourage.
Completely so. And just to echo your thoughts there, like we say it every single week to you at home, that our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. But please, as ever, do remember to gamble responsibly, not just this week, but throughout the entirety of the year. And very well said, Sam, yourself. Right, into the action though, because we begin with the big one on Saturday. This is the Paddy Power Gold Cup Chase, a premier handicap for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 4 at 220. We have two of the Grade 1 winning novice chasers going head to head in a handicap. Things we love to see. For Dec, this is as good a lineup as we've seen in this race for many years, but who wins it?
Yeah, this is a belter. I'm really looking forward to seeing this race and see how it pans out. I think it's going to be a race run at least a good gallop, maybe even a strong gallop. I think Stage Star will go forward. The Real Whacker probably won't be too far behind, and Unexpected Party as well could be on the pace, and Angel's Breath, another who won't be too far away. But I came down on not long till May, because I was just looking at the kind of the trends for the race. Yeah, 2015 was the last time a horse won the Paddy Power without a prep run, and that was Anacotti. So I think with all the rain forecast around Cheltenham, it's going to be proper soft ground. I wanted a horse who had a run, and he fitted the bill. He ran a cracker at the October meeting last time out over a trip too short on ground that was maybe quick enough for him, but he shaped really well. And you know, he does bring that Grade 1 form, doesn't he? He was beaten by Stage Star in the Turners by 3 lengths at the Cheltenham Festival last season, but he's £3 better off for that beating. The other thing as well, I doubt Stage Star will get the same easy lead like he did that day, given a very good ride by Harry Cobden. And not long till May, just looking back at the replay again last night, he had a much wider trip throughout as well. He's a horse who jumps well, he travels strongly. I think this intermediate trip really suits him well. So yeah, I'm going to kick off the show with Not Long Till May for the Laura Morgan team.
Look at you getting on the trends bandwagon here. So he got to say it before I did on this week's show. So Not Long Till May for Dec. Sam?
Put your trends in the bin for this race, because I'm going to have to go against them with my selection. I'm all over the Real Whacker, and yes, he is going to have to do something that lots of horses have tried and failed with in terms of carrying top weight here, but I think he's a very, very classy horse, and it's great to see these very good horses in handicaps. We don't see it too often, so fair play to Connections for taking the chance here. You go back through the form book, listen, some people would argue he was perhaps the beneficiary of a slightly iffy effort from Jordan Gainford. I'm sure he'd want that ride back again on Jerry Colomb. He's obviously got on and achieved something fairly spectacular last week at Down Royal. Is now second favourite for the Gold Cup. The drop in trip, a few people have sort of gone, oh, I'm not sure. I think he's tailor-made to go back in trip, and to the point where I think I might even take the 16-1 about him for the Ryanair. I think this will see him in a good light. I think the pace of the race is really going to help him. I think his record at Cheltenham's great. He's got to go well fresh, and obviously that's a bit of a concern, but he has won after a break previously in the past, so I don't think that's going to be something I hold against him. The biggest issue is going to be he's got a lump 12 stone round here, but I just think it's a cracking renewal. We've got these good horses in here, and I really hope he runs well to encourage people to go and do it in the likes of the Coral Trophy later on in the season at Newbury, to other big handicaps, because we need to see this. It makes a competitive betting event, and I think he'll shorten up as well from that price we are at the moment. He could be the plunge horse for me.
And he could then shorten up for the Ryanair as a result of this. So nicely teed up then for later in the season for him. Now, the pair of you two obviously focusing in on the Grade 1 winning novice chasers from last season. I feel that the percentage take-up of them in the market has pushed a few of these out to a bigger price than they perhaps should be. And I'm hoping that's going to be the case for Angel's Breath, who still remains pretty unexposed. He's a 9-year-old, but only 9 rule starts to his name so far. And I thought his run last time out on his reappearance would have teed him up perfectly for this second at Cheltenham, but over hurdles. And that was his first run over hurdles since finishing 3rd in a Grade 1 novice at Aintree in 2019. But he ran well there, under top weight as well, which sees his chase mark protected. And I still think it's feasible off of 144 too. So again, ticking lots of trends boxes. He's already had the prep run this season. So we're on the trends bandwagon for different horses though. Angel's Breath for me, Tech.
Not long till May for me, please.
And Sam.
The real whacker to put you trends people in your places.
Oh, that's it, right. Trends versus not then in our opener. Do let us know your own selections for the Paddy Power Gold Cup in the comments section below. But before we move on to our next race, we hope that you are enjoying the show as ever. And if you are, please do remember to subscribe to the At The Races YouTube channel and also hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, on to the next one, because again, we are at Cheltenham, but this time for a handicap hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 3 miles at 2:55. A pretty open contest here where it is 11-2 the field, joint favourites at the head of the market. And Sam, we've got plenty of familiar names in here, real blends of chasers going back hurdling, unexposed types, routine handicappers. Who did you like?
Yeah, I thought this was competitive enough, but my pin came down towards the head of the betting with Buddy 1, and I think I'm not alone in that thought. So I'll try and leave a little bit of meat on the bones for others. Just a really interesting horse here. Obviously arrives after winning at Galway. I love a horse coming here after a run. I do think that's going to be beneficial. You know, a really good win at Galway as well. Quite a big horse as well. And I noted Connections afterwards did nominate that they were coming to the November meeting, I should say. So this has obviously been a bit of a plan for a while. You go back through the form book, the 3rd in the Martin Pipe looks really strong. The 2nd at Aintree as well. There's plenty there to suggest the horse will travel fine and be absolutely all right at Cheltenham. Yeah, I'll try and leave a little bit for others to talk about because I think he's a popular pick here, Kate.
I have a funny feeling that as well. Not that our WhatsApp group gave this away whatsoever, but yeah, I also really like Buddy 1. I'm so concerned about Chantry House in here at that price. He's a bigger price than I thought, but he would be sort of a win or bust play for me in this. Rather than Buddy 1, I wanted the still relatively unexposed, younger legs at least anyway. We know that this horse, for all that he was doing well over the summer, and there's always that question whether or not the summer form is going to translate when taking on these horses in the main body of the season. But he proved last season it's no problem for him whatsoever. 3rd in the Martin Pipe at the festival, 2nd at the Aintree Festival in a Premier Handicap hurdle, and he only bumped into the progressive Fenner Cross then. So I think that he's improving all the while. So Sam and I both with Buddy 1. Deck, not to give anything away, but
I think the cat's out of the bag, isn't it? I'm also with him, yeah. I just thought, having gone through the race, looking at soft ground, there were 3 or 4 other horses on my shortlist, but I think they all wanted nicer ground. He's going to handle this soft ground perfectly. I think the ground might have even been closer to heavy than soft last time out when he won at Galway. He's just a really likeable, straightforward, honest horse who jumps well. And, you know, I kind of looked at the profile of the race. There's plenty of horses in here, ex-chasers, kind of maybe being prepped for something down the line, and the likes of Chantry House probably just running to get his confidence back. So I just thought the race set up really well for him. Mocca Devassi was high on the shortlist as well, but he's plummeted in the betting since the market opened, and his jumping can be a little bit of a worry. But as long as the David Pipe horse, who I didn't know a lot about, PlaceNet, he was the kind of the fly in the ointment. As long as there's no kind of real buzz about him, I thought Buddy 1 with the good 7-pound claimer taken weight off his back would go very, very close.
What's our record when we all
Levi
three of us agree?
Mind,
I know this is the first horse.
I think we're 1 for 2.
Yes.
Lethal Levi let us down. The other one we were all on was Little Big Bear, wasn't it?
Little Big Bear.
Sandy Lane, I think it was.
Our first jumper all in agreement then. Let's hope it goes well.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, exactly. Our first jump horse that we're hopefully going to be bringing the hat-trick of selections up with then to winning effect. So we're all with Buddy One. Again, do let us know your own selections in the comment section below. Now, we switch codes. We head to the all-weather next at Lingfield, of course, live on Sky Sports Racing. And this is with the listed Golden Rose Stakes for the 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs at 3:11. Now, Mischief Magic is, of course, a warm favourite here at 5-4, but it's then 6-1 the field. So, Dec, what was the play here, please?
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be a potentially messy race. The 6 furlong start at Lingfield, like plenty of the starts, that track is right on the bend. It comes up quick, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. The other thing as well, I didn't see a lot of pace in the race. I thought Sweet Harmony, drawn in 10, could get a pretty easy lead up front and dictate matters. But I just thought at those prices, I wanted to take on Mischief Magic. You know, he's priced up like the Breeders' Cup winner that won a couple of seasons ago, but you know, since that win his form is plummeted. He just hasn't looked the same horse. I know he does come here on the back of a win last time out on the all-weather at Kempton, but you know, he beat 3 6-year-olds in that race. I think the runner-up, the mare, is rated 93, so I just wanted to take him on, and I eventually came down on Pink Crystal. Now look, she's drawn in 9. She's going to need a very good ride from Richard Kingscote, or she's going to need the race to pan out nicely for her from there. But look, she's a progressive filly. She's had a really good season. She's tough, she's honest, and she's consistent. She's obviously going to get the sex allowance as well. She's got plenty of all-weather form as well, this filly. She is a course and distance winner here. She hasn't run on the all-weather since July of last year, but she's just a completely different filly, a significantly better horse. And if Richard Kingscote can work his magic from 9, or the race pans out well from her, I'm hoping that she can close down this field late and get up on the line. OK, so Dec, take you on the favourite then with Pink Crystal. Sam, where were you looking?
Yeah, just the favourite. Plenty of respect for that last time out win, but just too short for me at 5-4, especially around Lingfield, where on that all-weather track, you do get some slightly surprising results. Favourites, that said, have won the last 3 renewals, but one of those favourites is a 20-1 shot in this race today, Kate. And I know you like Summerghand. I'm a massive fan of this horse at 20-1. I don't understand the price. 2 from 4 at Lingfield. Definitely handles the all-weather surface for all that we've seen more of the winning been done on turf, and you know, a real old standing dish these days, but seems to still take his racing well. You go back a couple of starts on the turf and there was a good 4th. The last 2 runs were arguably a little bit disappointing, but you know he's going to be plenty fresh enough for this. David Probert rides, and I think he's a really good rider on any surface, but I do think he tends to ride Lingfield pretty well as well. And I thought that was a massive each way play. Yeah,
I'm in total agreement. When I saw 20-1 about him, I just thought,
just too big.
2-1 favourite for this race last year.
You've got like a private WhatsApp where you're comparing notes.
That's it, a little that's it. You always know, don't you? If you're the left out one from the additional WhatsApp group. Yeah, exactly that. But yeah, we're in agreement again though with Summerghand, where 20-1, far too big for me. Where he's carrying the same weight as last year, where he was well enough off at the weights, but he's well enough off at the weights this time around, I still think now. And yes, he's a 9-year-old, but he's only run twice on the all-weather since success in this race last year that we're seeing. And he's just done his usual this season. He's won big field handicaps on the turf. He's reached the frame in others. He's been not so good in other ones. But that is just him and his profile all over. Big field, competitive handicap sprints on the turf. But he is just as effective as we're seeing here in this type of a race. So the price is just a bit bemusing for me, where I hugely respect Mischief Magic, of course, 2 from 2 on the all-weather, but those both at Kempton, over 6 furlongs. Summerghand, 20-1, what's not to like? But Dec, just to reiterate who you're with.
Yes, it's going to be Pink Crystal for the informal William Haggis team for me.
OK, then, right. So divided opinion there at Lingfield. Again, do let us know your own selections in the comments section below. Now, something a little bit different up next, because we're going to look ahead to the Sunday action. Now, as we're recording now on Friday morning, we don't have declarations, let alone prices, but we thought it would be remiss of us if we didn't take a look at some of the future races and the headline acts at Cheltenham on Sunday. So, guys, a good starting point here is, of course, going to be Jonbon making his reappearance start in the Shloer Chase, taking on Edwardstone. But, Sam, how did you really weigh up this clash?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the market in the week, Jonbon was obviously a firm favourite. Be interested to see who gets declared against him. But For me, I really fancy him. If you were just to look at the pair at the front of the betting, him and Edwardstone, I'm always a bit concerned. I love Edwardstone, but they seem to already be talking about sending him up in trip. Jonbon, for me, he's naturally going to be the nearest thing we're going to have from home soil to go really well in that 2-mile chase division. I think he looks an absolute star. I was lucky enough, actually, he was at Newbury having a bit of practice going around the parade ring. This shows Nicky Henderson leaves no stone unturned. He just turned up to have a trot around the parade ring, and you know, it was quite funny. There was a charity race at the same time, and more people seem to stay and actually watch him because he's such a little superstar, isn't he? And you know, he's a very popular horse, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him. But one thing I would say is I thought Editor de Gis in that race was very overpriced midweek. If he turns up, I would not have him. I think we were something like 14, 10 to 1, something like that. I think I'd have him as arguably the nearest danger from those that were likely to line up. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing Jonbon. Really, really excited. I think he'll win, and I think he'll win well.
OK, then, so Sam does like Jonbon, and hopefully we will get to see all of these horses turning up when we do get the decks through deck. But, but who did you... I mean, are we being a little bit dismissive of Edwardstone on the basis of one run?
Yeah, potentially, but the only thing I don't like with Edwardstone is throughout his whole career, he's been a very sound horse, but kind of there was issues. He missed entry, didn't he, last season after a disappointing run in the Queen Mother Champion Chase, and I just don't like that now. Plus, as well, you know, he's not exactly a young horse anymore. Yeah, look, if Jonbon doesn't win, it'll be very, very disappointing. But I agree with Sam. I think Editor de Gis is overpriced. You know, he obviously handles soft ground. Banbridge, will he run if all that rain comes? Highly unlikely. Jonbon, I thought the ground. I know he was taking on a bit of what could be a monster in El Fabiolo in the Arca last year, but I just thought he didn't handle the ground as well as he should have. But obviously, he's a full brother to Duvan, who was a machine in the mud. Yeah. So I thought he'd handle it. But I think now, after watching that, I think he's much better on a kind of a spring sounder surface. Yeah, I think it helps him travel better, and it definitely helps his jumping. So it'll be interesting to see who's declared. But I thought maybe that a kind of betting and running play could be Editor de Gis if he got loose in the lead. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't trade shorter than 14 to 1.
Yeah, and his favourite course and distance, of course, as well. That does just see him to best effect here. But, yeah, I think Jonbon, though, I am in total agreement, where I know he's a short price at the current time of recording, but I think that's justified. I just couldn't quite be siding with Edwardstone on the back of that disappointing run. And
we should probably quickly mention as well, Jonbon will have a different jockey, won't he? Because Nico de Bonville is replacing the injured Aidan Coleman. So hopefully Aidan's recovery is going well. It sounds like he had a pretty bad break there. So he'll be gutted to be missing this weekend.
Oh, definitely. He absolutely adores this horse, as we all know. So, yeah, we are sending our best, of course, to Aidan. But, yeah, hopefully then the replacement can do the business. So that is then the Shloer Chase at Cheltenham on Sunday. But probably the feature race then on Sunday is the Greatwood Handicap Hurdle, of course, as competitive as ever. And now, Dec, we've seen a real market move for a Willie Mullins trained horse in here. That's only a matter of time. So is this going to be another case of a Paul Byrne gamble landed? I
don't know. I think, I have the utmost respect for that man and Emmett Mullins, and now he's obviously got Willie doing the training of this lad. I just kind of, they know what they're doing. I think, you know, it's hard to sometimes catch their horses right, even some of the gambled ones. There has been a few that have gone astray. Look, that's just the nature of the game. Massively respect the move. But I just thought, we haven't got the decks yet, but I thought Sonagino was really overpriced. He's actually, he was a horse I fancied for the race last year, but he ran no race. He must have had an issue coming out because we didn't see him for a good couple of months then. I thought he shaped really well at Chepstow on his comeback on ground that was maybe just a little bit too soft for him. You know, you stop that race, you can go on to races.com obviously and watch the website. Stop that race, kind of 3 out, 2 out. He is travelling all over everything. I just think he clearly blew up, and he didn't jump as slickly as he can. Usually when he's in good order, he jumps quite well. It sounds like Freddie Gingell might take the ride on him, and if he's going to take the £7 off his back, that's a lot of weight for a horse who's race fit coming from his top stable. So I thought I saw 20s, 25s about him. That was a little bit overpriced to me. And then once the decks are through him, you might get extra places as well if there's a big field.
Yeah, will we be, Sam? Can we tell that just
yet? Yeah, it's a really competitive handicap. But just on the favourite, Antipost, who ended up favourite, probably because I think we were all sleeping on this horse a little bit. And I think maybe people assumed either he wouldn't come or they looked at the form. And on form, I think it's really hard to make a strong case for him. But since the trainer swap, obviously connections, I think it's possibly more that. Would I say we've seen like some huge mad gamble? No, but we've seen a bit of money where punters are pretty shrewd and gone, that shouldn't be a double-figure price. It won't be a double-figure price on the day. What I would say is I think the market closer to the off will be the most telling thing with this horse's ability. We've seen Connections do this before, but then we've also seen some of these kind of gambles blow out as well. So I couldn't back it at 7-2 now, but maybe we'll see what it is on the day. The couple that I liked in there, I thought I always respect anything Dan Skelton runs. He's got a couple in here potentially. Knickerbocker Glory was the one of the pair that I liked, and Lucia as well. I thought was an interesting double-figure play earlier in the week. That second to You Wear It Well. If you watch the race back, both of them make a bit of an error. You Wear It Well gets away that bit quicker and wins, drawing away, but she drew away from everything else in the race, and I just think it's great that she's had the opportunity for a run. I don't think she was quite right, was she, going into the festival last year? So I thought that was an interesting play for Nicky Henderson. For all, I don't think he's got the best record in the race, but a really competitive Greatwood, and it's a fantastic race.
Oh, I can't wait for it. But again, I swear we don't have an additional WhatsApp group. But Sam, because even when I didn't even know that you said that Knickerbocker Glory was going to be a kind of reserve selection, my reserve selection as well, with Lucia as the main play, where I know a few people were kind of left scratching their heads when they saw her turning up for Wetherby, thinking, well, she's got this mark, surely the Greatwood would be ideal for her. But she still went to Wetherby, and she was really well supported before the off as well. So it was all kind of giving us mixed signals, but she did run well, didn't she? Like you say, she fluffed the last, as did the winner, but Lucia was just coming there to close her down at that stage anyway. But it means that her mark has been unchanged from 1.36 on the quick turnaround. So yeah, we're both with Lucia then, but of course we will still have decks to come in a few hours as we're recording now on Friday morning for the Greatwood.
Let's just hope it's a cloudy day at Cheltenham on Sunday and Saturday and today. And let's hope all the National Hunt meetings are cloudy, because if I remember correctly, the Greatwood last year was a bit of a farce of a race. So
fingers crossed.
Cloudy days, please, for the rest of the season.
Cloudy days, please, but not enough that we continue to have to talk about the weather on this show, please. Right, that is the Greatwood. Then again, do let us know what you fancy for the race in the comments section below as we head over to the Skypad to give you our best bets for the weekend. Now, the all-important part, our nap, our next best and our long shot. Deck, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a nap in the big race this week. I'm going to go for the Paddy Power, and not long till May. We've already discussed him in the show, so I won't go too much more into detail. But look, he's a second-season chaser who's very lightly raced. He jumps well. He comes from a really up-and-coming yard who I think are going places. Then the next best is also going to come at Cheltenham, and it's going to be Guy and Yami for the Tizard team. Now, Springwell Bay has the potential to absolutely blow this race apart, no doubt about it. But he is a very, very keen horse, and I'm hoping he's going to blow his brains first time out and run too fresh as he steps up in trip. And then the second favourite in that race is a horse called Resplendent Grey, who I think Tracey might like. He is a horse who didn't look like he stayed too well to me last time out at Chepstow, and now he goes further up in trip again. So I thought a horse like Guy and Yami, who comes here off the back of a good run at Wincanton on soft ground and stays this track really well, he could maybe upset the apple cart a little bit for the Tizard team. And then the long shot is going to come in the Golden Rose Stakes. We've already touched on that race as well, but it's going to be Exalted Angel, a horse who loves the all-weather. He was a big eye catcher last time out at Newcastle, raced on a part of the track where if you've been watching the racing at Newcastle recently, the stand side rail has had a pretty strong bias, and he was drawn well away from that. Not only that, then he ran into loads of traffic, got caught up there and got pushed further and further away from the rail as the race progressed. He was a big drifter that day, but travelled like a horse who was in really good order, and he usually takes a nice step forward from his first run after a break to his second. So I thought he could go well for the Carl Burke and Clifford Lee team.
Well, best of luck. Thanks for sticking the dagger in for one of my selections there that I haven't even got to talk about yet. Appreciate that a lot, Deck. Sam?
Yes, I'm going to head to Ireland. There's some absolutely fantastic racing at Navan. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled on that stuff. And my nap's going to be Facile Vega. I know it'll be a short price, but because of In the Pocket being in there, I actually think you might get a little bit of value. If you like the look of Willie Mullins' horse to go unbeaten for the season, BetVictor are offering 10-1, 3 runs or more required for that. That runs till Punchestown. Like I say, I thought that was quite an interesting play. Facile Vega for me. There's a lot of expectation on this horse, and I'm hopeful that it'll live up to the hype. Captain Guinness next up. Now, the good thing about Captain Guinness's race, you've got Dysart Dynamo in here, who's going to probably be the favourite, giving us a bit of value about Henry de Bromhead's Chaser, that just falls a little bit short at that top level, but these Grade 2, Grade 3s really are Captain Guinness's level, and I expect a good performance from him. Dysart Dino, for me, I think there's too many slight suspect jumping issues that I would not want to be siding with him. So Captain Guinness for me against him is going to be a great play. And then Disco Daisy in the bumper. Now, I don't tend to go too hard in these bumpers when you're having a bet, but I do think it's a race certainly to at least watch, and this horse was very impressive on first start at Chepstow in soft conditions, but really ran away with it. The form of the race probably is not going to work out to be too special, but the individual performance certainly caught my eye and will be likely to be a double-figure price. Probably get an extra place on the day as well. So that was my each-way play at a big price.
It's gone rogue then with your 3 best bets today. 2 Irish ones and then a Cheltenham. Random selection, but I like it a lot. They're good cases made all round. Now, I have covered my own nap already. Well, as have all 3 of us, to be honest. So I'm pleased to say that Buddy One is my nap in the 2:55 at Cheltenham, the 3-mile handicap hurdle there. I don't think there's masses of strength and depth to the 3-mile handicap hurdle, and we have question marks over some of the top end of a handicap horses in here. So onto the younger horse with evident talent to keep on side. That's Buddy One, 3rd in the Martin Pipe, 2nd in a Premier handicap hurdle at the Aintree Festival. Improved again last time out, winning at Galway. And he's certainly a horse who is still improving. Fitness and course form to boot. Now, I'm taking on deck in the 3:30 at Cheltenham, the intermediate handicap hurdle over 2-mile 5 with Resplendent Grey. We're in disagreement over the trip. I think he actually improved for the trip last time out and the step up in grade in the Grade 2 Persian War novices hurdle. I don't think he was disgraced here whatsoever, finishing 2nd behind Captain Teague. Now, hopefully, Captain Teague will win the Grade 2 Hyde novices hurdle at Cheltenham on Friday and give the form a further boost. And I think that the shift into handicap company for the first time for Resplendent Grey is very interesting, and hopefully he can look better than a mark of 127. So still an unexposed type, 3 hurdle starts to his name to go with his debut bumper success. That's in the 3:30. And my long shot horse we've already discussed, Summerghand, in the 3:11 at Lingfield, the Golden Rose Stakes. So again, I'm taking you on there with a long shot over the 6 furlongs. The winner of this race last year is a 2-to-1 favourite, 20-to-1 this time around, and he's done very little wrong in the meantime, and he is just the horse that we all know and love. So hopefully he gets another big day in the sun. That is everything from us on this week's show. A big thank you to Dec and to Sam for all of their hard work as per usual. A big thank you to you at home for watching and for getting involved as ever. Remember, you can watch all of Lingfield's action live on Sky Sports Racing. We'll be back at the same time next week to look ahead to Ascot and Haydock.